I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 1st, 2021 meeting. Official time is 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this morning. Good, have approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second? Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Okay, we'll start off with Mr. Goins is going to do our invocation of pledge, and then we'll go to our special presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight to say thank you, Lord. Thank you with our heads bowed for the many blessings that you give us that we go so undeserving. Father, thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, for it is him who gave us our salvation. And Father, we just thank you for this past weekend, and we got out and celebrated, and Lord, we can only pray that we kept our thoughts on the reason we were celebrated, is the people who died, the people who gave all that didn't come home. Father, we just ask you to please watch over this community, be in this meeting tonight, and everyone in this room. We just ask you to use our bodies to your service and continue to bless us in the ways that we will not know, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Goins. Well done. We have a very special presentation tonight. We've already dedicated the library building to this gentleman, but the Board of Commissioners would like to recognize him for the resolution for Mr. Frank Duke. I'll read it and bring you forward. That way everybody can hear it on the microphone. We have a resolution expressing our appreciation for Frank Duke's years of service to Jones County Library Board of Trustees. Duke recently announced that he planned to retire from the Jones County Library Board of Trustees after many years of dedicated service. Duke originally joined the Library Board in 1978 when the library was a 782 square foot building. He helped lobby for construction of the new library building, including work with the city, county, and state officials that resulted in the construction of the facility on Railroad Street. After returning to Gray in 2000, Mr. Duke rejoined the library board, and he spearheaded another construction effort resulting in a $1.75 million expansion of the facility constructed during his initial service on the board. Mr. Duke has served the community in a variety of other ways, including membership on the development board and the Blight Committee. Jones County owes Mr. Duke a debt of gratitude for his commitment to both the library and our community. Absolute role model of this community. You can be a servant and not be elected. And we appreciate you. But the Board of Commissioners wish to express their appreciation to Mr. Duke. Excuse me, I didn't have it on. I thought I had it on. Okay. That's what y'all are here to keep me straight. The Board of Commissioners expresses appreciation for Mr. Duke's many years of dedicated service to the library in Jones County. Therefore, the Jones County Board of Commissioners assembles in regular session that Mr. Duke serves the Jones County Library knowledge and appreciates and celebrates. Services. So you can be a public servant and not do
not get paid. I'm gonna be real brief. I thank y'all so much. You know, I want to thank the commissioners all through the years. You've been so wonderful. You know, coming up to the plate when we needed money to do the first library. You did almost $500,000 the second go round when we were. When we talked with y'all in the about I don't know, it's been so long, 15, 14, and y'all came through with the money for the library, with a match from the state for what, 1.3 million. So you've got a state-of-the-art facility there. You've got a great library staff. And you've always had a great board that I've been my pleasure to serve with. You've got a new chairperson, Ms. Debbie Smith, and she's going to carry the flag right on. So, but thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much.
It's been wonderful.
We move on to our planning and zoning night. Mr. Petrowski.
Chairman, our only item this evening is a request by Gina and Kelly Collier. It's a request to rezone from R1 to RMH, a 14.82 acre parcel on Highway 57. Through the hearing process, the Colliers pointed out that they wanted a double wide, not a single wide. The Planning Commission has recommended approval of rezoning a strip 150-foot wide to a depth to encompass the area they had already cleaned to RR, not RMH.
All right. Well, the Colliers here tonight, like to say anything? You don't want to say anything? Is it?
If it's good, we're good.
All right, thank
We
you.
just want to get in the house.
Anyone here tonight opposed to this request? If none,
Motion to approve, Chairman.
Second.
second?
Could we clarify, are we going to follow the Planning Commission's recommendation, or are we rezoning the entire parcel to RMH?
What would be the downside of the whole parcel?
To rezone the entire parcel to RMH would allow the placement of multiple single wides on this piece of property. If we follow the Planning Commission's recommendation, we're just rezoning a small portion to allow this double wide.
There's n- If we rezoned it all, they wouldn't have to come back to add more.
Correct.
Okay. I think if the request is just to rezone for one now, I mean, that's all, I guess that's all they're going. Yeah, follow the motion to follow the recommendation of the zoning commission.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Podolsky. We move on to board appointments tonight. Appoint Adam Lowe to Tax Assessors Board for 6 years.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kitchen, you want to explain?
Yeah, and I think this is from my district. The person we had appointed before has a conflict with their work schedule and is not able to complete the training nor attend the board meetings at the time they're normally scheduled. And so he asked that he be allowed to step down from that position. Still wishes to serve in some capacity, but can't fulfill the duties on that board. And so we've accepted the resignation from that one, and so we have an unexpired term on that board. But is this something we need to postpone until we can get more information on it?
Let's postpone this agenda item to the next meeting.
All right, we need to postpone the general item to the next meeting. I need a motion.
Yeah, a motion to postpone to the next meeting for further information.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Region 5 EMS Council appointments. You handling that one?
I can talk a little bit, or Don can.
Don?
Don and Thomas Coleman are our two current representatives on that board, and their terms are expired, and they're up for reappointment if the board so chooses.
Mr. Board's wishes.
Can I say something?
Sure.
This will be my 12th year on the board, and I would love to serve at least 2 more years. Being certified for over 44 years now as a paramedic, I think that I bring a little bit to the table for this area. Currently, right now, I'm on the chair for emergency preparedness for EMS for this region, this 29 counties. So there's a few things that I want to get done in the next 2 years, and I know Thomas feels the same way. We would be honored to be on this board again, if so.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. We move on to our consent agenda approval for the minutes. We had the third Tuesday of May 18th along with an executive session, and we had a work session on May 22nd, 2021. It was a great work session. If you should have been there, but we had a great time. At this time, if y'all had an opportunity to look at the minutes, if everything's all right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you. New business, striping the parking lot at Government Center, Civic Center, Courthouse, and overflow. Who's handling that one? Scott, Oh, Donald. Oh, he's here. Oh, come on.
He got an emergency call.
Hey guys, I've got 2 quotes for restriping the parking lots. They're in bad shape. The cheapest one's one y'all have a copy of there. It's for the government center and side of the buildings. It's for just the overflow parking at the courthouse as well as the civic center. The front was striped, I think, about a year and a half ago. So I think the total comes to I think it was $4,200 total. I tried to get it out of my budget, but Levita said I didn't have it, so she said maybe out of contingency. So I'm here to try to get approval to get those parking lots striped.
Using general funds.
General fund, whatever.
All right. All right, Mr. Boyd's wishes.
I don't have a problem with it. I was wondering why we were bringing prices this low to the board. I thought that was
He needs some money.
Yeah, he just needs to move it out of general fund. Motion to approve, Chairman.
Okay.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second, any discussion? None, all in favor, aye? Aye. Let's have it. Thank you. Yeah, I figured out when he sees that money. I said, okay, that's easy. All right, lease agreement, old senior center, Mr. Resner?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is the old senior center that's located kind of right behind Tri-County EMC. This agreement is between the Board of Commissioners and the State Properties Commission, who handles leases for Central Georgia Tech and entities like that. It's basically the same agreement we have in place now, the same rate, and so I would recommend approval of the lease agreement with the State Properties Commission.
Any questions to approve? Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, any discussion? None, all in favor, aye? Aye. Let's have it. Thank y'all. Landfill agreement, you want to postpone this to the,
Yes, sir.
all right, Mr. Risner asked if we can postpone the landfill agreement and give him opportunity to look over it a little further. Oh, she's tough.
I'll make a motion to postpone the landfill agreement for further information.
You got a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye? Aye. Let's have it.
Made me nervous that you
I
were
wasn't
moving
gonna-
right along.
No. I just, you want me to go slower?
No, that's fine.
Award bid for mini excavator, Mr. Risner.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We previously discussed going out for bid for a mini excavator. We issued the bid documents, and we received 2 responses. One from Yancey Brothers for a CAT, and another from Flint Equipment for a John Deere. The John Deere unit that was proposed does not meet the specifications, and so it would be our recommendation to go with the Caterpillar from Yancey Brothers.
I see some confusion. Any questions for Mr. Risner?
Absolutely. So we sent out a spec, and they just chose not to bid the spec, or they chose to ignore the spec?
So, John Deere does not have a model that meets those specifications. So, they proposed a model, but it does not, they just don't have anything. This size is kind of between, some vendors call it a midi excavator, or it's either a very large mini X or a midi excavator, and so John Deere just doesn't have anything in that space, and so they went ahead and submitted anyway, knowing that what they were submitting didn't meet the specs.
All right, so almost feels like deja vu a little bit, narrow specs. Is there something specific that we wrote out of the spec that?
After the previous discussion, I went back and as I was writing these specs, I had specs on 4 different units before me, and so I very deliberately worked my way through all those different things, and I ensured that at least 4 units would meet those specs. And so that's what we sent out. There was a Caterpillar that would meet those specs. There was a Kubota that would meet those specs. There was a Wacker Newsom that would meet those specs, and a Kubota, I believe, was the fourth. And so, you know, I did my very best to write them where it was broad enough where, you know, there wasn't just one unit that would meet them. So, but this is what we got back. So, there was a Komatsu.
Komatsu was the other one.
Yeah.
Does it have all the necessary protective anti-shatter material in front of the operator?
It does. Yeah,
Okay.
we specified all that.
What's the will of the board?
Based on recommendation of, motion to approve Yancey Brothers.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Where's the money coming
His 2015?
Lost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, John would be here.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Staffing for the gym, Mr. Goins?
Yes, sir. A couple years ago, we opened up Matty Wells Gym during summer hours. We didn't do it last year, obviously, because it was a different year. So we're looking to come back this year to potentially do it again. We're looking at wanting to open up from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We already opened from 4 p.m. Till on with our staff that we currently have. This is extending hours where we're open at 10 a.m. And continue to forward, and our normal staff will pick it up from there. So that's 6 hours. The salary would be $10 an hour. So I'm looking for a minimum of $3,600. It'll be 12 weeks. So it's $300 a week for 12 weeks, $3,600. But there's potential that it could be busier for one person to handle. So I'm asking for $5,400. The additional $1,800 would be used only if the gym got so busy we would need to bring in a second person during the busy hours of the morning. If it turned out that it wasn't busy and it wasn't necessary to have that second staff member, then we wouldn't use that. So I'm asking for $5,400 in case we have to have it, but a minimum. But we will spend it at $3,600.
Any questions for Mr. Goins?
Quickly, Matt, is there a reason why we didn't consider opening at 8?
Just being honest, just looking at my own kids, they probably ain't gonna get them to get out of bed before 10 a.m.
And the reason why I asked is because if we're doing a feed-in program, that is a location, right?
No, not this year, no, sir.
Plus, we're not certain it's not going out till 10. Deliveries between 10 and 2. The kids don't get out of bed.
Man, Jones County kids need to wake up. Bibb County kids are wide awake.
Get them up.
Okay. You know, I'm only going to say if we have an opportunity to open up at 8, I mean, it's a couple extra hours. I would ask that we budget for it. If we see that kids aren't coming, then we can reel it back. But, you know, for those that would get up early, if we have any opportunities, you know, 2 extra hours, why not?
May have this opportunity, we need to call workforce development and see what's possibly out there.
Well, that was I'm going to start hoping. Last time we did it, we had a Miss Greta Woods that worked with Miss Wendy. I don't know if she's still there. That was going to be my first call to try to get Miss Greta back. And then me and Mr. Martin had already talked about calling those people and trying to get some of them in also.
Sure, because they've got some extra funds available right now, so. Mr. Will, the board.
Make a motion to approve the 5,400, not to exceed 5,400, recognizing that it'll use the 3,400 originally. 3,600 originally, and then the other one, if we can do what Commissioner Martin talked about, that money would allow for us to open up a couple hours earlier if available.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it, thank you. Your concrete floor, bid.
Yes, sir. As you know, we went out for bid a couple months ago, and y'all should have it. I guess you have it there in your packet. The company, we had 2 companies. I know we only have 2 companies, and y'all don't like when we come back with just 2 companies, but Leslie assured me that this went out to a bunch. I'm probably close to 100 people because they have a new site that they send it to, a new state site, then that state site sends it out to a bunch of vendors based on codes. So this was sent out to a bunch of people. However, we got 2 back. Concrete Designer Repair, $33,430, and Riley Contracting, Inc. at $40,000. I've spoken with both companies and got their layout of what they're going to be doing, and so with that being said, I go with the cheaper bid, concrete design and repair at $33,430.
What was the alternate one to Doug?
The alternate one to Doug was if we pull the tile up in-house. And the challenge you have with that is right now, if we did this right now, my staff is wide open cutting grass. If we wanted to wait till winter time, which I know Commissioner Martin doesn't want to, then we could save the $5,000 potentially and pull it up ourselves because we don't,
You
not as
still
wide
have to
open.
rent the machine to scrape the glue up,
Yes,
right?
sir. Right. It wouldn't be a true 5,000 savings, but it would be some. But for the sake of time and this company not saying that we didn't get the tile up properly and this and that, and causing them conflict on getting the glue up and this and that, I'd rather just
Yeah, I agree.
pass it over to them.
Yeah, I always put that in my project.
Removing that kind of tile is very labor intensive, and it's, I've seen jobs done, and it takes somebody that does it every day to really get it up and get that looking right.
I will say that I do not have the funds, so I will be requesting that it come out of contingency. Or John Lowe ain't here, so we can take it out of his budget.
I like it. Motion to approve motion to go with the recommendation for concrete design and repair of $33,430 and have it come out of contingency.
Consent, all right. Don't you have some money left?
Who, me?
You gonna use all?
Not yet. It's coming up.
Coming up.
It'll be gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember, you got some money left.
It won't be.
Okay.
Appreciate you, though.
Make sure you don't forget about it.
I didn't.
All right, I got a motion to second. I just had to
I
remind.
want to postpone it to number 13. I'll second, Chairman.
All in favor, aye? Aye. I'd have it. You know I had to pick at you about that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Mr. Chairman, number 7, I'd like to postpone that for now.
Motion to I need a motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone number 7,
Second.
new position, Parks and Recreation.
I'm proud of y'all. Y'all getting through this long agenda quick tonight. All in favor, aye? Aye. Ayes have it. 4th of July.
You should have this. I handed it to you before you got here, put it in your spot. But we're doing, the reason I'm here tonight, again, is to let you know we're doing our Independence celebration again this year. To be on July 1st, be at Morris Bank Recreation
Got all this
Complex,
neat pile of
as we have done the past 2 years. Our sponsors is some of our sponsors, Southeast Outdoor Solutions and Squeaky Clean. I'm asking this year, as I have in the past couple of years, that Parks and Recreation / Jones County Board of Commissioners put in $2,000 from our marketing campaign. That's where we get whole sponsors, we get school board sponsors and this and that goes into a special funds, and that money is spent with the approval of you on different things such as this. So I'm asking for $2,000 to help support this Independence celebration on July 1st.
Make a motion to, let me move it back over here. I make a motion for us to help with the 4th of July celebration with the sponsor of $2,000.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second, any discussion?
Real quick.
Yep.
Does he have to come before us to use that money? Is that why he's asking? Because-
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When we created this account, it was created that it could only be spent with your approval.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was straight under Parks and Rec. All right.
It is for my department, but
Right.
I can't spin it at will.
Okay. Don't buy pencils without talking to us, man.
Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Tatum not gonna be here.
We'll have the Facebook Live. You can watch it.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Jason. you
Online
got that-
registration.
get that keyed up. Yes, sir. I also put this on there as well. We've been researching online registration, and we've been asked from a couple of sports associations over the last couple of years. And after researching multiple ones, Civic Plus, used to be called Rec One, is the one that I narrowed it down to that works best. This is not just me doing research, it's also talking to other parks and recreations around the state. And what you see on your screen is an example of what it looks like. What it does, it allows us to go in and build the website based on what we offer, and as we grow, we can do our rentals, whether it's gyms, pavilions. We can also do our camps. You can do all your sports associations, and everything's done online, everything's tracked, everything's accountable, and so everything's electronic. And so that, you know, if someone says, I paid for this, well, it's easy to find out if they did. Basketball is wanting us to help. Soccer is wanting us to help. 49 Ballpark is wanting us to help. So we have some sports association starting wanting our help with registration. The way I spoke with Mr. Jason a couple of times about it, the way it would work if we did that is soccer would sign up through this registration, online registration format. All the money would come into Jones County Board of Commissioners. When registration ended, we would then be able to pull the report, know exactly how much we took in for soccer and how many kids signed up, and then Levita would then cut a check to the Soccer Association for that amount. So they would still get their money that they always have, but it would funnel through this, and so it's trackable, it's easier to keep up with. And if we had to do any refunds because of whatever reason, it's a lot easier to maintain that way. So, as you see there, there's always a cost when you're doing something like this. The first year investment, because you have to buy it and build it, and then they come help set everything up, is $7,800. And then each occurring year after that would be around $4,700. The reason I'm asking now and not just putting this in my 2022 budget is because, you know, once we get this established, we'll build it into our regular budget and it'll be a revolving line item. The reason I'm coming now and not waiting until August is if we're going to help soccer and potentially help football, then we need to get it online now and have it ready to go before August gets here, because that's when they start doing soccer and football signups. And we can't help soccer if we're not already up and running and ready.
Are they gonna help with any of the occurring cost of it with their funds that they take in?
You're
Or
talking
we
about
absorb
sports,
all?
you're talking about sports associations.
Yeah.
So, yes and no. That would be yes by adding a small fee, could be $1 or $2, you know, on top of the registration, or it built into the registration, and that would be up to us, or not us, you as a Board of Commissioners, to whether we wanted to say, okay, based on how many kids you have sign up, we're going to keep $1.25 or $2 per kid to cover the expense of this. That would be my recommendation, but again, that's your decision whether you do that or not.
Chairman, I know we used it in BIB, and we did the same thing. It was just to provide the equity, it was based on the number of participants per sport. So, you know, that way if you got 100 in soccer and 500 in football, they don't pay the same amount. You know, football pays more than soccer. But, yeah, I think there needs to be some cost sharing there. In order. One thing it absolutely does is provides us transparency and accountability in all our sports. So for that, I'm one question though, Matt, have they, when we use it, there was an issue with, it didn't come up so much in sports leagues, but it did with rentals. The problem was if I'm using my card and it says there's a $50 deposit, I agree to have my card charged $50 for this,
Correct.
for the event, and a $50 deposit on my card that's refundable. The problem came in when you say, well, you left trash or you damaged this and that, we're going to keep your deposit. It's my credit card. I just file a complaint to my credit card that I don't want it being charged, deny the charge, and it goes back onto my card. And so there was no enforceable way to keep that deposit other than you agree to it in your terms. But nobody's gonna fight that battle online. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was a big discussion back then, and it didn't get into any problems until we had special events that were a $1,500 deposit.
Right.
You know, and when you got that big, you know, it was worth it to argue about $1,500, maybe not 50, but.
We do have that potential to happen. What we would do is we wouldn't have, we would charge them just like we do now, the $50 deposit and the $50 rental. Both charges would go ahead and be pushed through. It wouldn't be on hold. Then when the rental was up, we would do as we do now. I would submit to Levita that everything went fine, and then they cut a check back to the person and they send it to them in the mail. That's the way it works now. There's no deposits or return until I sign off on them. And we have this past year, we have kept a few deposits because people left trash behind or pushed stuff into walls they ain't supposed to. But for the most part, knock on wood, we're pretty good. But that is that potential, yes, sir.
Yeah, I support Chairman. We just need to recognize that we're probably gonna get some complaints that you got my money right off the bat, but I had to wait 10 days to get it processed and put in the mail and brought back to me. So, and that's a legitimate complaint, you know, that we're not returning the deposit as quick as we took it when we were renting it. But, you know, that going into renting the space too.
Probably need a disclaimer in there saying your deposit will be returned within 30 days. That way they know.
Going up
If they
front.
rent it on Saturday, they're not gonna have it back in their, a check in the mail by Tuesday, you know.
Right.
And so you need a disclaimer that's gonna tell them, hey, look, it's whatever time the board says, it's gonna be so many days for us to.
30
And
days from the event.
this
Well,
website,
Revisions to our rental contract is something that I passed out a couple months ago probably, that we need to revisit it at some work session or future board meeting, so that we can finalize our rental contract to start with, but that may be something, you know, that we could add in to that based on this online program and registration, things of that nature.
and this also has a live, up-to-date calendar. So as something is rented, if I rented it at 12 o'clock today and you came in at 1 in one of the same facility, it would show you at 1 o'clock it's not available.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing, is it's not, it's grayed out, just like if you go to book a hotel room and it's grayed out, it's not available that week, or you know, it's not available, so.
And it's very user-friendly. Once, let's just say, Mr. Martin created an account for his kids, that account stays there. So now when it's time to sign up for the next sport or the next kid, he just log in like he would his email, and his account pops up, and boom, there he goes. So, very user-friendly.
So no parent excuse that I couldn't get up there to register. You can
Correct.
do it right there on your
That's
phone.
correct.
As a past board member, that's wonderful.
There'll still be excuses.
Convenience comes with a cost, and so I support it also. I mean, it's.
What about
It'll-
uniform sizes where they have to?
Verify uniform sizes.
Yeah. So most sports now are getting where they only do jerseys or a hat or jerseys and socks. And so even with this, you go ahead and designate on there what size shirt your kid wears.
What's the will of the board?
I make a motion to approve, Chairman, with the understanding that there will be cost sharing with the process, and also that it coincides with revamping our rental policies.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? We got 2 seconds.
Commissioner Martin looks like.
Where's the money coming from?
Where's the money coming from?
Looking at me, I don't have a
That's a
budget.
big question tonight.
I don't have a budget.
You got some left.
I don't have a budget. It's not included, wasn't in the splash description. Contingency is the only location.
Contingency.
I think, without question, the first cost, I think, is our responsibility because we're building out the program, right? Then the cost sharing happens afterwards, so it comes from contingency. It's a no-brainer. And I hope that this will solve some of our other challenges. I think if we know referee fees up front and we're paying all those in advance, we won't ever have those challenges ever again.
Correct.
Absolutely. So build all that in.
Well, we have a motion in 2 seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye. Y'all did say contingency.
5 house per district for abatement. Commissioner Martin.
Yes, sir. In the past, we've had the ability to go in and abate and demolish homes, and I don't remember us doing very much of that. Maybe COVID had something to do with it, but Again, Mr. Duke and Mr. Scoville have done a good job of helping us to identify a lot of that. And Tiffany has been out there working. I think it's time for us to allocate those funds to start demolishing some homes per district. So it's going to be my recommendation that I move that we start abating or demolishing 5 homes per district this year.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Where's the money coming from?
We don't have it.
Contingency is running.
Well, there is a budget for the dilapidated housing, and Jason can explain more than I can.
I'll reckon. We have a second?
Jason's like.
Oh.
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Yeah, second for discussion.
I think we've typically, at least in the last few years, allocated $20,000 for demolitions there that has just sort of been set aside as properties work their way through that process. Once they get to the point where we can go in and demolish them or abate whatever the nuisance is, there's money sitting there. There's the $20,000 that I think's been budgeted the last several years. And so there's some money sitting there. And I think it's just waiting for houses to work their way through the legal process.
We have a motion to second. We had somebody raise a hand.
Tiffany.
Tiffany. I'm glad you say she's hiding behind Sydney.
Not high normalcy. Yes, Mr. Risner was right. We generally do the 20,000 a year. Now, last year there was a 10% cut in that, so that did put a little ding in that. Generally, it would be about 3 to 4 houses per year. I work with Attorney Childs very closely on that, and lots of times you would prep, say maybe 4. You get to that last minute, they see those dozers coming, owners show up and take them down. And that's a good benefit on our behalf, because we're not having to spend money. That's what happened in 2018. We had 4. One of them was taken down. The other 3, the residents showed up and took care of it. End of 2019, the judge asked me to put a hold on it because there was a House bill that came out that dealt with abandoned, dilapidated properties. He wanted to review that. And then the ugly term of COVID showed up, and I have to have a judge's order, so we've not had court in a very long time.
So we're waiting on a judge's order for you.
Yeah, well, I would have to go through and get with Miss Brody. We have to do the deed clearance checks and all that, and then do a real nice side, get with her, and then you have to have a judge's order. Then you would get the bid and all that, because you have to get the order first. So once, hopefully, court, whenever it opens back up, we can start going back at it. But that's what we have right now. I think it's 20,000 minus 10%, well, and almost another 5,000 was taken out of that. So the rest of this budget year, we're probably not going to be able to get any done because of the court issue. We're rolling into the new year, hopefully.
So do we roll that money over every year, or is it just the same 20,000 budgeted?
I think it's just been basically the same $20,000 amount budgeted each year.
So
How much is it per?
It can vary. I've had some contractor fee can be $39,000 or $3,900. They can be $7,000. It's going to depend on whether it's a mobile home, brick structure, depending on the size, whether it's partially torn down already. And I have it worked out that whoever the contract we use, the billing for the landfill is put up under our account because we get a discounted rate versus that contractor. So that's still trying to save county spending money and decrease the amount that's going to go on that bill to that landowner if they end up having to have it torn down. So, but your contractor fee, that's your big hit up front. But that 20, it's not designated per district. It's just, we've always looked at the priority. I sat down with Attorney Childs and we prioritized the list. You know, if you've got one in the middle of 10 acres, but you've got one in a subdivision 10 people have complained about, you're going to want to target that one first. So that we always did a priority list. It wasn't, staged by district.
I know we're held up by the courts, but we still have a motion to second, so. Any more questions before I ask for a vote?
So what's the most that's been done? I mean, this is,
That's 20,000.
right.
I'm sorry.
What's the most that we've done in the past? I mean, would you have the capability of 20 houses a year? In general, we're doing 3 or 4?
If the funding's available.
It's out there. No problem finding the house.
yeah, they in the house.
It's the reverse. It's,
Yeah, it's
the
no problem
financing
finding the
for it.
houses. They're all
Right,
there.
but you need to find
I hate to
Because
say
it is set up that if, say it was Commissioner Wood's house, and we ended up tearing it down, he would be then issued a bill. If he does not pay it, it goes onto depending on what time of the year, as to which year tax bill it would go on. And then if he doesn't pay, it would go up for tax sale, and if someone purchases it, then that money is taken off the top and returned back to the county.
So, just a comment, Chairman, or clarification, I guess. The 5 houses per district, based on the budgeted amount we have, and I'll go a little farther than that to say that this year, I'd like to see us at least vote every year on our budget to roll that money over. So if we have 15,000 last year that we didn't use, we still budget the 20,000 next year, and that gives us 35, because if we didn't use the 15,000, we didn't tear the houses down, and the houses are still there. So the need is still there, the money, it shouldn't go away, and then we rebudget again next year. But that being said, if we've only got $15,000, and it usually does 2 or 3, 4 houses, and we're talking 20 now, I can't say that we're gonna find another $100,000 between now and September budget.
Right, and we know, and the reason why I'm putting that out there, we don't have a goal at this point. It's been, here's a list, let's kind of prioritize it. So we never put a number on it, we never make any progress. When was the last time we tore a house down?
2018.
2018, so that's 3 years ago. Theoretically, that's 60,000 plus the 20,000, so we'd have 80 grand. I'm not asking for 80 grand now. I know we're not even gonna get to 20 homes, because it's gonna take us a while to get there. But if we put a goal there, and we start putting the money there, we can get it done. Technically, to Sam's point, we owe the account 60 grand.
I get handed the 20 back every year.
Right, you keep giving it back, stop doing that. So, we're 60 in arrears, we got 15-ish coming up, minus the 10%. Let's put the goal out there, and let's go for it. The judge is only gonna approve X amount at a time, but at least if we have it there, we know we can. And we owe the county the courtesy.
I like a go, I like setting goals.
We need to recognize what these blighted structures do to the tax base in the neighborhood around those houses. It does draw down the neighboring property values, and that's something the Blight Committee has worked very hard on.
Can I ask a question? Just for my own knowledge. If you were to designate a certain amount per district, what if, I hate to say this, but what if you had one district that had more than another?
We already have that.
I know, but I'm just, you know.
I would say the equivalent of 5 houses per district. If there's 10 in District 4 and none in District 1, I'm okay with that. The problem is the dilapidated houses, not whose district they're in, so.
And I would go a little bit further with the gentlewoman's courtesy. If Sam has more houses this year, let's have a conversation about that, or if he has a massive home that takes,
That does happen.
here's the cooperation that we have an opportunity to do.
And I've had 1 or 2 that we legally got put on hold because there was an issue.
Yeah. So we'll work that
We
part
would have
out.
taken more, but ugly COVID stopped everything for a year and a half, so.
Any more discussion?
No, sir, let's make it happen.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Good deal. Thank you.
Great. Water late fees, Commissioner Kitchens.
Yep, thank you, Chairman. So if you remember, it's been a couple of months back, we changed the policy on late fees. What we were having, the reason it came to our attention is what we were having was, we had a 2-month rollover period, basically. So we'd go from late fees for 1 month, and they would roll over into the second month, and it was causing some people to get far enough behind that they couldn't catch up, and we had to make agreements to make smaller payments, which affected our billing cycle. And also, as a board, we voted to change that to a percentage basis and go back to a 1-month billing instead of 2-month billing. We came back, two board meetings later, rectified that and changed it from the amount of billing, but we left a percentage in there. And so, we left in a percentage of, we put a set late fee is what we did. What that has effectively done is, if you have single family homes, seniors, or single person homes that use the least amount of water, we're charging them the same thing as if they had 3 families using 10,000 gallons a month. And so we're not being equal across the board there. And I got a call from a constituent that had an $18 water bill, the late fee is $15. So, you know, that's a pretty high percentage of $18. I don't think it was any of our intent to do any kind of financial harm to anybody that is using the least amount of our services and probably on a fixed income or less financially able to pay because they're not using a large water amount. So I talked with the water department, and I've looked at some other ones like the Tri-County and Macon Water Authority, some other ones that have the ability to have a senior plan in there for a discount for senior citizens or people without the ability to pay. And talking with Jeffrey, we have that ability in our Tyler system. So I wanted to bring it to the board tonight to see about how we go about instituting some type of senior plan. You know, we give senior credits at restaurants, we give senior credits on the school taxes. You know, I think it's only right that we do that. We take care of our seniors. So I'm not sure how the plan would look if it would be a set amount for a senior discount, or if it's a set amount for the least amount for the late fee. I think that's something we need to figure out, but you know, the root of it is I don't think it's fair to there, in my mind, there's no way that a $15 late fee on an $18 bill is right. You know, if that was equal across the board, if you had a $200 bill, would you have a $180 late fee? Yeah, so I just don't, I don't see the fairness in that, so I'm just asking that the board consider some type of senior plan so that in that situation, if they're using the least amount, there's fairness in the cost of the plan.
Any questions from the floor before I invite the guest up to sign in on this topic?
I was just going to say, John, you look like you were prepped. I'll let you go first.
Well, I was going to say, Sam had some good points there. I agree with many things he said. It might be good to schedule an hour work session before the next meeting, but that'd be, you can maybe talk about it and change the ordinance based on what we come up with as far as changing
You think that would be an hour, or just basically
30 minutes?
Yeah, well, I'm going to propose this because I like where Sam was going with this, and thank you, John, for that. Proposal for the work session, emergency cutoff, the sick and the shut-in, all of those people apply. And the senior plan without question, then I thought about fixed income. You know, there are people who get a set amount from Social Security, and they may be on this whatever situation. So I think all of that, if we're going to take the seniors into consideration, we need to look at the sick and the shut-in and those that are in financial hardship. So, work session.
Yeah, I agree, because the biggest hurdle for us is going to be how do we fit it into our billing plan? Because even with, you know, talking with Jeffrey, even with the senior plan, the seniors are going to have to sign up for it to verify the age to be able to be eligible for it. So if it's based on income, they got to provide that income level, and if that changes, you know, they're in the plan, out of the plan, in the plan, you know, and it probably may not with a fixed income, Social Security or retirement plan.
Right.
But you know, it could get in and out, so I think we got to be careful on our end how the billing goes out, because there's only certain ways to check the box.
Yep.
You know, you don't get you don't become an unsenior. You know,
Right,
once you're a
right.
senior, you got that status, and you're in that plan. So, but I
Tyler,
agree.
do just a percentage of whatever the bill is across the board would be the late fee. If it's an $18 bill, it's 10% of that. If it's a $200 bill, it's 10% of that. So that compensates, you know, for
Graduating
those.
scale.
Let me, Mr. Doug, you'd signed in. Would you like to speak?
My name is Doug Rooks, for the record. I'm one of these people that get an $18 water bill ever since I've lived here. Okay, prior to moving here, I wanted the power turned on and the water turned on. The power turned it on, no problem, from the other state. I had to come down and pay $100 deposit for the water, which they still have, and they call it a meter deposit or something. So they're still holding $100 of mine. But 10% of $18 really isn't going to justify anything. The Tri-County has a program for seniors and disabled where they waive the penalty. You have to, verify that you're, that age or disabled, and that way, that percent thing will kind of disappear. Now with Tri-County, that's not doesn't belong to the county here, but I pay my bill automatic debit from my checking account. They offer another program where I can use a credit card or something, but I have to pay $2.50 per month, which ends up to be $30 a year. Well, automatic debit is free, and they get the money the instant the bill comes out. I'd like to see the water company do that. Right now, I go down and pay 3 months in advance. That way, you don't have to worry about falling in the rears.
Well, we've got a work session. You're more than welcome to come and bring those ideas to us also.
Yeah, if somehow they could do the automatic debit, where it wouldn't cost the water user, and the water company would automatically get their money instantly.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think at this time we need somebody to make a motion to,
Somebody else that wants
Yeah,
to
make
speak.
it nice how you want it, Steve.
okay, all right. All right. If you have any other comments on citizens' comments, you can come forward also. What we didn't do is sign in, but because you didn't realize that's fine. I mean, but he addressed your concern?
He addressed mine.
That's great. All right. All right. Well, we need I guess, a motion to postpone until we can have a work session.
I make a motion that we postpone the water late fees until we can have a work session.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Friendly amendment. In the interim, can we pause the $15 late fee on an $18 bill?
Well, let's get this motion and then we'll.
It's a friendly amendment, but sure.
I know, all right.
Okay.
Let's get the postpone. All in favor on the postpone?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Now you're Fenria, that way we keep it separate.
Sure. A motion,
This lady beside me is getting ready to go.
but she was going to accept the friendly amendment, correct? Right? Let him slide.
That's a friendly another motion.
So I move that we
Friendly
pause, I move that we pause the $15 late fee on the $18 bills until we have the work session.
You can pause all the late fees or just one on
We're
18?
talking, he brought up $18 late fees. Because that's exorbitant, that's like 70% of the bill. I don't know how to do it effectively, I don't want to do all late
You need
fees.
to ask finance, make sure you ain't fitting them.
Yeah, I
Mess up
don't-
the program again, because we
Yeah,
did it.
because what if it's a $19 bill or $21.32? Levita's
Well,
not gonna be
all
happy
right.
Why don't
with
we
you.
just get through the work session, and that way we don't have
Okay.
Levita.
I was trying to-
Commissioner, when we come out of the work session, we make it retroactive to when we voted the last time to change the.
Fair enough, what he said. I retract my
and then we'll
previous
give-
motion,
then
Mr.
we'll give the
Chairman.
money back.
I retract my previous motion.
All right, and we can have work session next meeting?
Fair enough.
You want an hour? All right. All right, good, we don't have any motion on that. Can we move on, who's next? Jakes Woods. Tell me about your rock climbing.
That's me again. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, so it was the last work session. If you weren't there, it was pretty neat. I didn't get any ticks on me. A lot of people did, but they turned great. So we actually got to tour part of our historic district and part of an awesome place that we found that's part of Jakes Woods, and I won't go into the history because we got a short amount of time tonight, but we have an opportunity. We talked about this 2 or 3 years ago about preserving the history of the property, but we talked about it there too. When you're able to preserve the history, the natural resource, the economic potential, and the drivers there, all these things coming together in one opportunity are very, very seldom. So we've got an opportunity for the Conservation Fund to help us acquire this property. And there's all kind of opportunities for public-private partnerships, donors and all this. So I'd like to make a motion that we start the process to acquire Jakes Woods through a partnership with this Conservation Fund, also the Access Fund, Southeastern Rock Climbing Coalition, and then there's several other partners. And recognizing that all the acquisition and improvements would be funded through grants and donations, so it's not our money coming up. And then and if we could ask the county attorney to draft a resolution to that effect.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Open for discussion. It was quite an impressive trip.
I hate I missed it.
We go again.
You missed
Yeah.
out.
Let's go when the tick, like when there aren't ticks.
They're not in the
I know a
It
shortcut
wasn't bad.
with 4
Before
wheels,
lunch.
but it's not the same.
I mean, I'm a little bit sweeter than Sam, they'll probably bite me.
You know,
But Chairman, I do want to be real clear that we are acquiring it through this Conservation Fund program. And what that does is protect all of us in keeping those requirements on that property so that in perpetuity, even after our board, nothing has changed. So it's a true preservation of that property.
Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
No opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank y'all.
Great. If y'all want a trip, I'll get you out there. I know a man.
Matt?
You know, a shortcut too. Great. All right, Mr. Goins, you're up with a Highway 49 Food Distribution Shelter.
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask Mr. Ronnie Henson to come forward with me while we talk about this so he can fill in any blanks. Came to you a couple months ago about the idea of building a multi-purpose shelter, Highway 49, adjacent to the quad and the playground that's there. And I think I put a sample of what a shelter would look like. This would be a 20 by 40 shelter. Last time I was here, I got permission from you to go out there to move forward with the project. I met Tim Ingram out there. We looked at it, and Tim's idea with the project is, instead of doing what I wanted to do, his seems to make more sense. I guess that's why he's an engineer and I'm not. But he thinks that putting in a culvert, covering it up, packing it in with dirt, and then having a manhole built on both ends to sustain the water, and then we get the poles, and then we can do the counterlever, what we talked about, which would give us a 20-foot wide. And so what you would have is a pole on this end, a pole at 10 foot, and then the next 10 foot would not have a pole on the outer side, which would be hanging over the parking lot. With doing that and looking at all the costing, concrete's around $1,390. The drain pipe, I did not attach a cost to it, but we would get it from Public Works. The manhole is around $1,500 to build. The poles, we already got those poles donated. They're actually already on site. Tri-County gave us the poles. Tri-County EMC, that is. Metal roofing will run you about $6,000 purchased and installed. The trusses will come from Roost Truss. They're $2,560. And then, of course, all your framing material, roughly around $12,000. That's a give or take, because the way your lumber prices are, it could go up or down tomorrow. And then, of course, you always have miscellaneous fees around $1,500. So, estimated total price is around $25,000. And again, the multi-purpose of this shed or shelter would act as a pavilion, another pavilion for that facility. So it would give shade right there adjacent to the playground, which we currently do not have. So mothers and families will have a cool place to sit while their children are playing on the playground. And then another very important aspect is for our food drive, and that's why I have Mr. Ronnie here. I'd like for him to talk a little bit about the food drive and its prosperity moving forward.
It's an honor to be with you tonight. We've been doing this food drive for about going on 2 years now. Just a FYI, there's only two agencies in Jones County now that have the connections with the Middle Georgia Food Bank. Jordan Chapel and Haddock, they're one, and Sunrise on Gray Highway, we're the other. So we've got both ends of the county. They have theirs in Haddock the second Monday, and we host ours the second Thursday of each month. And pretty awesome. We feed about an average between 200 and 250 families. So there at the ballpark, it's been phenomenal. We started out at Greenwood. COVID came, and having it there, people are able to get out and use the restrooms, and we have plenty of room for the cars to park. We'll keep them out of the highway. We can double lane them coming in. We normally have about 20 to 30 volunteers to come. So I was here mainly just for any questions. If you have any questions concerning the food, we normally have 12 to 14 to 16 pallets. They bring it out, we unload it, separate it, put it in bags, boxes, and cars. We advertise the line doesn't start until 11 o'clock. I get there at 8:30 a.m. and there's already 75 to 100 cars just sitting there waiting. So we've been we added little prayer cards, where people sitting in line, they can fill out a prayer request. We've also added a receiver where they can listen to updates when we'll have the next one on their FM radio there. So we're stepping our game up. So thank you guys for letting us have it there at 49. And it's a need everywhere. It's really, once again, if you haven't been, just drop by. It's pretty amazing to see that many people. I'm there, when at the end of the line, so I get to see these single moms, and foster parents, that really, really need extra food. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do for the county, too.
Thank you.
Very much.
And so what I'm asking for tonight is, one, the approval to move forward and be able to build this structure. That's one. The second thing I'm asking for is if Chris Marr, who is our marketing, Parks and Rec marketing lady, if she can secure a sponsor for this pavilion, then that money be used for the pavilion. And then, of course, we're going to start a fundraising campaign through Pool. If you don't know what Pool is a pastor committee called Pastors United Loving the Lord, and of course through Sunrise Ministry. So any private donations or fundraising other than Chris Marr, those funds will flow through Sunrise Ministry. With your permission, I'd like to go ahead and start pushing this project forward, and then of course get with Ms. Marr and see if she can secure a multi-year sponsor.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank y'all very much.
Matt,
Thank y'all.
while you up there, you got any department heads tonight?
I do, sir. Try to make it worth my while coming.
It hasn't been in a while, man. We're rolling them off.
Oh,
tonight.
he
So,
loaded us up tonight. Doing good.
We have been looking at the interior walkways for a while, trying to make them better, trying to improve them. We built some new batting cages, which turned out to be a big hit up there in the new complex. But during that construction of the new batting cages, obviously we tore up some walkway. Mr. Jason's experienced that firsthand with him and his son. So we went ahead and got with an asphalt company. I won't use the name because this is, if we decide to do it, it's going to have to go into a bid thing. But they came out and gave us a rough estimate. We're looking at $43,000 for them to come, and everywhere that Public Works has chip seal, which has done, for the most part, a very good job, but it's not a permanent fix, obviously. But everywhere they have chip seal, come in, take that up, grade it properly, compact it properly, and then put down asphalt, which we do have an asphalt drive going right through the middle of it. But this would finger out between the fields and make it where elderly, handicap, and new mothers could transport throughout the park. The reason I'm not asking for approval tonight, I need you to think about that. So when I come back or when I put it in 2022 budget, because I don't have any SPLOST, so I will be coming before you for the 2022 budget. This being in there. Then the other thing we have to be thinking on is this year our golf carts are up for bid. The bid goes up in August, so I'll be coming to you here in the next month or so, going also in the 2022 budget. But the two ways I need to ask you is, in the past, we've always bidded out the golf carts for the golf course, but E-Z-GO actually secured a state contract, and so we could just go through state contract and not go through the bid process. So I kind of like to get a thumbs up on which direction you'd like for me to put my efforts moving forward for that.
Do we know now state contract is as low as what we bid at?
Yes, sir.
Because the whole intent is not to have to go through the cost of bidding, but I've seen in the past where a bid comes in cheaper than a state contract,
Right.
especially on equipment. But
Right now, with everything like it is, actually E-Z-GO being locked into a state contract prior to the prices of things going crazy is actually a blessing right now.
yeah.
Because when or if we order the golf carts, say next month or July, we won't get them till October. It'll take that long to build them.
Probably longer than that right now.
And then, the last thing is, my employees have been asking me to ask you this, to discuss this. The Allen Green has become a raceway. When they get to that first stop sign and they turn to go parallel with the ballpark, that little strip of road there has become a raceway. And so it's like they see how fast they can get from that stop sign till they reach the edge of the parking lot of the old park, if you can visualize what I'm talking about. So my staff has asked, is there any way to put speed bumps along that stretch of that road? So when vehicles are, going down that 200, 300 yard stretch, they can't turn into a raceway.
They definitely had them administratively, couldn't they?
But it's a city street. I don't know if I have the authority to do it. That's why we're kind of asking, and then also your thoughts on that. Because some people, obviously, anytime you put a speed bump somewhere, some going to like it, some going to hate it.
So is it the city street that cut through between Allen Green and Recreation Drive?
So when you turn off 18, you turn on to Allen Green. You
Right.
get to that stop sign, you make a left.
That
Is
turns
that-
into county property, right? Just the road itself is
Well, you
city.
talking about, you gonna put the speed brakes on Allen Green, you gonna put them on the,
When you make the left.
that's us.
I think that's our property.
I'm not sure.
Once you get to the stop sign.
I believe city property stops at the stop
Stop
sign
sign.
when you have to either go through the gate
Yeah.
or
Turn left,
Turn
because you
left.
wind up in the parking lot. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we do that administratively. I would recommend putting not the speed breakers, but the humps. It does the same purpose, but the 90% of people that are going in there can go over them without stopping and boom, 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 boom. you
Right.
know. But if you're gonna race down through there, you're still gonna bottom out if you hit one of those ramps instead of a bump.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I'll give it Mr. Jason and we'll move forward.
do we have
And
speed limit signs up so we can?
It's 25. There's 25.
So it is posted so
Yes.
the sheriff can enforce it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Mr. Graham?
I just appreciate the support. Always do. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Sidney, you're in the hot seat right now, aren't you? You got anything for Public Works tonight? Anything good? Miss Tiffany, I see you hiding in the back. You're good? Good. Mr. Risner? Wow. We're gonna get out of here early tonight.
That's what they're hoping for, Mr.
That's what
Chairman.
I told you, we can rock and roll. No other? All right. Citizen comments. Anyone tonight like to come forward? No citizen comments? Commissioner Wood, you want to start us off tonight and commissioner comment?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a nice phone call from Miss Joyce Hatcher last Wednesday night. She was very appreciative of the county efforts on the road, and she had high praises for all the county employees, and she wanted me to express that gratitude tonight and give them, two thumbs up at their efforts on Homer Childs.
Mr. Kitchens?
I appreciate everybody, everything they do. Our employees are our greatest asset. That's all I got, Chairman.
Absolutely. Mr. Bone?
I second that. We do have great employees here.
We do.
We do.
I go places and I'm always proud to say I'm from Jones County, and it's because of how we all work together, not just one person. It's everybody working together. And in this room, I look around and there's numerous people here that reach out and help in many different ways for people that are in need. And that's what draws people to Jones County, so I appreciate
Why
you.
everybody wants to move here.
That's right.
Commissioner Martin?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, echo the same sentiment. I appreciate our employees. They make life easy. Going to give you all a little bit more work too, because I got a couple calls about Alton Road, and I think I pitched it to Jason when Macon Water Authority did some cutting over in the road. I don't know if they went back and repaired our road correctly, because the day I went over there, they just dropped some quick patch. So I'll follow back up with you on that, because that is almost in front of your sister's house, I think? Okay. Yeah, they cut into the road and they put a patch about this wide in there where they, I guess, had a main water leak. So just follow up on that. And then lastly, or second to last, have had questions about when our software is going to be available so we can point it, click it, fix it.
We're getting very close on that. We're going through and entering all the prompts now.
Okay.
For the different types of complaints. You know, when you text in an issue, you'll get a series of sort of automatically generated questions to kind of extract the information that we need to be able to proceed with it. And so the various departments that are using it are going through now and entering all those prompts for the types of complaints that they may receive. So we're getting within a month it'll be out there.
All right, or recorded within a month. And lastly, cameras. I know we voted on cameras.
Still looking for the best one, eh?
So I've got two different vendors that their solutions aren't identical, but the sheriff's office has given me the information on those, and I'm going to set up demos on those, and I'll get that information out to you so y'all can come see what those units do. So.
Excellent.
That's great.
That's all I got. Thank
That
you.
was still, he was still looking, but that's great.
All right.
That's great.
Appreciate
All right, Thank you. And to our employees, thank y'all. And our citizens also. There's so many of y'all out here that are putting your heart and souls in this community, and that's what it's about. That's what Jones County is about. We thank each and every one of you. At this time, I need a motion to do we still need executive session? Not on real estate. Nothing's come in yet. Personnel, we
Okay,
need-
that's what I was wondering.
Was there personnel? We don't need.
What the
I just, Ms. Vaughn, we need a motion to, we don't need an executive session now.
I make a motion that we adjourn
Second.
And cancel executive session.
and cancel executive session. He's already second.
Thank you. All in favor, aye. Thank you.
Wow.
All right. Look what time it is. 7:15. That's what I was shooting for.
He must want to get home, get real hot.